there's so much negativity in the world that if you don't use both sides of the equation, both positive and negative energy, you're going to have a much harder time, because the people that are using both sides are going to be propelled so much more forward because they're using that little dig that their cousin told them. Oh, fuel. Okay, fuel to my fire. Thank you very much for saying that I will fail. I will not, and I will prove you wrong. That's the energy that you have to have. Welcome back to, what is this called? Mission Mode with Madeline Mack. I'm Madeline Mack, and this is Mission Mode, my podcast, talking about the things that I'm using to go forward in the mission of life and whatever your life mission is. So hopefully, by listening to my podcast, you can better complete the mission. So today, we are talking about being an outcast and the powerful power of being an outcast, and why every single person that you look up to, any successful person you've ever seen in your entire life, is an outcast. But for some reason, like, the term outcast has this negative tone to it. And I don't like that, because I've always kind of felt like the outcast. And I've always felt bad about it up until recently. My headphone cord was wrapped around my pillow. Up until recently, and recently being like the past 2 years, I felt terrible for not having really any, quote, not having any friends. I mean, I was friends with everyone, but also no one at the same time. And it's fine. And it's actually a superpower to be an outcast, if you think of it that way. And I have been filming a YouTube video this past week, the first video that's going to be posted of 2026, on this subject, the secret power of being an outcast. And I have my YouTube video outline with me, and I was like, you know what? I could go even further beyond, in depth, on the subject on my podcast, because I can. So we're going to do that today. And I have 5 different points about the importance of being an outcast, what's going to happen when you're an outcast, the effects of being an outcast, and why it's so important. I just repeated myself, but it's okay. 5 points. 5 different things on outcasts. So let's just get right into it. So number 1, rejection starts close to home. And it gets pretty brutal the more you are outcasting yourself from your inner circle, from the people that you spend the most time around. Sometimes they don't like when you're trying to better yourself. And I'm going to use a biblical example just because I read the Bible every day and I like to use it because, yeah. So in Matthew chapter 13, verse 54, it says, and he here is Jesus. So, and when he was come into his own country, he taught them in their synagogue, insomuch that they were astonished, and said, whence hath this man this wisdom and these mighty works? So where does this guy get his wisdom, and where did he get all these mighty works from? 55. Is not this the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Mary, and his brethren, James and Joseph? I don't really know how to say that name. Joseph? Jose? James, Joseph, Simon, and Judas. And his sisters, are they not all with us? Whence then has this man all these things? Where does he have, how did he figure all this stuff out? He's literally my neighbor. I saw him running around in diapers. I, have seen him grown up. What gives him the right? What does he think he's so cool for? Where does he learn these things? Who gives him the right to teach us in this way? Who does he think he is, basically, is what they're saying. And then it says, and they were offended in him. But Jesus said unto them, a prophet is not without honor, save in his own country, in his own house. Save in his own country, in his own house means except in his own country. So a prophet is not without honor, except in his hometown. Cannot preach in your hometown. Basically, that's what I wrote here. And he did not many works there because of their unbelief. He literally could not work there because they just didn't believe him, because they're like, who does Jesus think he is? I saw him grow up. What is he talking about? Who does he think he is that he can teach us all these things? He knows everything. Well, he didn't know everything. He actually did know everything. And anyways, even Jesus could not preach in his hometown. The people around him, the people closest to him, did not believe him. And they made fun of him and they didn't believe in him. And therefore, he could not work there. So he had to move to other places. Now, I think we have lost the staying with your family in the same small town and thing. And there's importance in that. But also, sometimes you do have to leave town. You do have to leave home to get a different perspective on things. But that's another topic for another day. Anyways, whenever you are trying to get better, let's say you have never worked out and your friends don't work out. And then you're like, you know what? I need to get better. I need to start working out. And you start going to the gym. You start being able to you have to miss a few group get-togethers or whatever. And you start not being able to stay up as late because you want to get more sleep so that you can train better the next day. And your friends are like, what the heck, man? You used to stay up until 5 a.m. with us. What's going on? What do you think you're better than us? What are you doing? You trying? Oh, look at her. She's just trying to work out. And does she really think that she can lose that weight? Does she really think that she can get muscular? What does she think she's doing? People will do that. And I'm saying this because I've heard this from people like Andy Frisella, Alex Hermosi, Lila Hermosi, flipping Ed Milet. I've heard this topic so many flipping times in my life since I was 13 listening to discipline content, motivational, whatever. Ever since then, I've heard this over and over and over. And I used to think, that probably will never happen. People close to me, they love me. They wouldn't ever want to be mean to me. What do you mean? And it's funny because actually they were right. And it's very surprising the people that come out of the woodwork that say things to you and you're like, oh, noted. Thought you were my friend, but actually, okay, sweet. Moving on. And it's just really interesting that it's these people know what they're talking about that are super successful, and I'm listening to them for 10 years, and then they say things and then they actually happen in my life and I'm wow, they were right. So do not be surprised when people close to you start making fun of you, start being what are you doing? Start, I don't know, saying, oh, here's Mr. Big Shot, here's Mrs. Big Shot. Oh, I hate when people say that. Here's Miss Big Shot. Here she comes. Here's the boss man. Here they come. It's okay. Do not be surprised when people say that. It is actually an extremely amazing sign that you are on the right path. And I literally now, I flipping love it. Love it when people are mean to me. Yes, I like it. I also like it when I get hate comments and stuff because I think they're funny. But I especially love it when people I've known for years say really mean stuff to me. And I'm like, ooh, you don't know what you just did, my guy. Because use that meanness as fuel to your fire. And this is something Andy Frisella talks about all the time, which is using that negative energy to help fuel yourself to get things done. Because if you only rely on positive energy, which I think is very important, you should always be positive about things, even when they're terrible, and have faith and belief and hope. But there's so much negativity in the world that if you don't use both sides of the equation, both positive and negative energy, you're going to have a much harder time, because the people that are using both sides are going to be propelled so much more forward because they're using that little dig that their cousin told them. Do you really think you're going to do that? It's actually really hard to make that, that career. How many people fail at that career? That's not probably going to work out. You know that, right? I've used that as fuel to show them very, very wrong. And I will continue to do that. I'm not saying that I am anywhere close to my goals or anything, but I'm saying this so that you, if you encounter these things, can also think, oh, fuel. Okay, fuel to my fire. Thank you very much for saying that I will fail. I will not, and I will prove you wrong. That's the energy that you have to have and the mindset that you have to have in order to get through a lot of circumstances in life, because life is hard, and sometimes you gotta use what you got. Sometimes what you got is negative energy. I've really been talking about number one for a long time now, but yeah, I'm gonna read from my little outline here. That sting, so speaking of people saying mean things, that sting is proof you're breaking free. It's not random. It's the price of outgrowing the ordinary. Embrace it as a embrace it as a signpost that says, I'm on the right path. The same people who mock you today might secretly admire you or even follow later, or they won't. Either way, you've already won by choosing growth over fitting in. Like, do not, when these people start saying these things, don't be like, oh crap, I need to stop working out because I need to like fit in with them. Like, no. If you look around your people in your friend group and you look at all of them and you're like, okay, I don't really want to be like any of these people, then why would you care about what they think? Yes, you should care about what people think. You should treat others as you want to be treated. You should be kind. Sometimes kindness means showing people what they could truly become. Sometimes kindness is literally providing the example of what they could become that they're not becoming right now, to show them, okay, guys, you're kind of wasting your life. How about we become better and work on ourselves and stop wasting our flipping time on time-wasting things, you know? And yeah, you are holding up a very painful mirror to them that's showing them that someone that I know I have grown up with from the same exact circumstances is taking the steps to become better that I could have also taken but didn't because I wanted to choose the comfort path. You're the signal, you're the sign telling them that. And they're like, oh, I could be doing that because I know where they came from, but I didn't. And now they're doing way better than me. So now I'm kind of jealous of them and I'm upset that I didn't do that myself. But the whole time you were like, you guys can come with me. It's not like you doing better is you saying, you guys be poopy heads over there. I'm going to go work on myself. I'm going to go become better. Like, you're like inviting them like, hey, you want to go to the gym with me? Hey, do you want to do some meal prep with me on Sunday? Hey, do you want to read this book with me? We can start a book club. Hey, do you want to listen to this podcast with me and get better? Hey, do you want to like welcome this to the people? And if they don't accept it, then that's not your fault. Okay. That's their own fault. And if they eventually fade away into your past and they don't talk to you ever again, they don't like you ever again, that was their choice. Okay. You gave them every single opportunity to follow you. So yeah, you becoming better just makes people uncomfortable when they know that they could be becoming better, but they're not. So yeah, being an outcast begins right where you're most familiar. Use it as fuel to keep moving forward. Point number 2, every icon you admire was once an outcast. I'm going to use the example of Joe Rogan because my dad was literally just telling the story of Joe Rogan last night. He was like reading it on his phone, and it's fascinating because Joe, he did something. He was won like the lightweight championship of Taekwondo or something. I'm butchering this so bad. I'm so sorry, Joe Rogan. He basically, to sum it up, Joe Rogan did so many things in his life that he had no flipping idea what he's doing. He got like publicly humiliated. People made fun of him. People told him, you're never going to make it. People told him like, you're never going to be a good comedian. People told him all these different things. And he took the chances anyway. He did the things that most people would be like, I have no idea what I'm doing, so I'm not going to do that. He did the things even though he didn't have a clue what he was doing. And he was seemed like, if you look at his life, everything about it screams he was an outcast. Like, no one would do the things that he's doing, like not the average person. And sorry, excuse me, I had to burp a little bit. But he literally just took the most unconventional path ever. Like, he literally said, I don't know if he literally said it, but he went to college and then decided that it was kind of a waste of time for him. So he dropped out, and that's very unconventional. And he now makes $250 million a year on Spotify with his podcast. And I'm like, he's still an outcast though. Like, how many people do what Joe Rogan does? And then, okay, let's use the example of Elon Musk. He's very odd, and people say that all the time. And since forever, people have seen him as an outcast. But look at all the things that he does. And even Andy Frisella, like starting a little vitamin shop is what they called it back in the day. His company, Supplement Superstores. A lot of his friends and family and people would be like, oh, you still run that little vitamin shop? While they're all going to college and getting degrees. And he was working on this little vitamin shop, making $50,000 in the first, I think he made $50,000 in the first 6 years or 10 years, which he was like, I could have made more money working at McDonald's. And he was taking this extremely unconventional path, the outcasted path, the straight and narrow, hard, grueling path, when all these other people were taking the easiest, broadest way. And now look at him. If you guys don't know who Andy Frisella is, if you guys don't know who Andy Frisella is, go look him up. Go listen to his podcast, Real AF with Andy Frisella. Go get some First Form products because they're top of the line. But anyways, all these people that you see, like Sebum, okay, he literally has said, I keep saying literally. Can someone tell me to stop saying literally? Sebum stopped getting invited from his friends to go places because they're like, oh, he's not gonna eat the same food. He's gonna be eating his bodybuilding food. He's gonna be going to the gym. He's gotta wake up early and go get his cardio in. Like, we don't want to deal with that. His friends stopped inviting him, and look at him now, like flipping 6-7 time Olympia champion. Not Olympia champion. Yeah, Mr. Olympia. Wait, was it 6 or 7? No, I just said it. 6, 7. No, you guys, I haven't said that this entire time. I've been so proud of myself for not saying that stupid meme, and I just said it. Dang it. Anyways, this is not national. I could cut that out, but it's going to stay in. All the people that you admire, every single flipping one of them was an outcast. Sarah Blakely, creator of Spanx, billionaire. She was selling fax machines, door-to-door salesman of fax machines. She was literally getting outcasted every single day. People casting her out of their building for trying to sell them a fax machine. And then when she got the idea for Spanx, when she cut the feet out of her pantyhose, she started going to these manufacturers, and she got denied after denial after denial after flipping, get out of my manufacturing company. Like, oh, you poor sweet girl. Like, do you really think you can cut the feet out of pantyhose and manufacture that? Like, what are you talking about? She got so many casted outednesses that happened to her. But she persevered and she kept going. And look at her now. Every single person that I admire is an outcast. Like, I don't like following people that are the same. I mean, not the same, but like no one likes following someone that is very normal. Every single very successful influencer, celebrity, musician, they're all very odd. They're all very weird. They all have their little quirks to them. And people like that. People are attracted to the weirdness of people. And that is why they are successful. But when you start being weird and different, people make fun of you and people outcast you, and people are like, what does she think she is? Like, who does she think she is? And it's funny because it's like, that is what brings success. That is what makes it happen. You have to be weird. You have to be weird. You have to be the outcast. You have to do things differently. Literally, a winner is extremely rare because they are the outcast. Everyone else is a loser except for one flippin' winner. That, by definition, makes it rare and different and outcasted from the rest. Like the outlier. I need to breathe. Hold on. Yeah. That every single person that you admire is an outcast. It's not weird. It's not something you should be worried about. It is something that you should totally embrace and be so happy that you are weird and outcasted. Like, that is the thing that you should be like thanking God every day. I'm so happy that I'm weird. Thank you, Lord, that I'm the weirdest person. No one wants to talk to me and no one wants to invite me to their parties. Because that's how I was in high school. No one wanted to invite me because they were like, she's a goody two-shoes. No one wants, why is she like that? Why is she wake up at 4 a.m.? Why is she working out at 4 a.m. before school? Why does she have a YouTube channel? What is she doing? Yeah. It's fine. Be weird. Okay. Number 3. True focus requires solitude. To master anything, you need deep, uninterrupted focus. And if you're constantly surrounded by noise and your phone and social media and FaceTiming and Snapchat and go to this party and Susie's other party and this other party, and I'm going to call Johnny on the phone for 12 hours. I'm going to call my other Johnny and then my other Johnny and then all my other boyfriends, like distractions, Netflix, TV, whatever, movies, all the things that you are binge watching. And it's distraction. You're afraid of not fitting in. So everyone's going to watch the same TV show, and everyone's going to listen to the same music, and everyone's going to listen to the same podcast, and everyone's going to listen to the same. And nah, like I literally, it's a fault of mine. But ever since I was little, I have always liked to disagree with like the popular thing at the time, just because everyone thinks it's really cool and popular. And like, for example, I've always loved the movie Beetlejuice. So when the second movie Beetlejuice came out, Beetlejuice, I gotta be careful, I can't say it a third time. When the second movie came out, then everyone's like, oh, I love Beetlejuice, that's so good. And I'm like, what the heck? I thought it was cool if, like, no one knew what Beetlejuice was, and now everyone knows what Beetlejuice is, and I'm like bugged now. And that's a really dumb example, but to be an outcast and to be successful at becoming focused, you have to be an outcast. And that means not following the trends. That means, I mean, you can. I'm just saying what I do. This podcast is just what I do. I personally don't like to listen to the music that everyone else listens to. I don't watch the same TV shows that everyone else watches. I don't watch the same movies that everyone else watches. And if I do, I'm usually criticizing it and not liking it, which again, is a fault of mine. But I have been trying to get better at it. And if something's really popular that is actually good, then I will like it. Like, I think a good example of that is The Chosen. The Chosen's an amazing show. Like, I will 1,000% get down with that. But everything else that is like, you know what I mean? And I almost think these things are designed to make people all, like, a bunch of people, like, get into the same thing so that they all, if all of your friends are listening to a song and you don't like that song, then you're the outcast and you're made fun of and you're different and why do you not like that? You're weird. And then people don't like you and then they stop talking to you. And you can't, relate to their stories when they're like, oh my gosh, did you see what Johnny did in season 2 of blah, blah, blah? And you're like, no. And then they go and talk to their other friends about that show. And it's like, well, guess what? Now I have more time to focus on myself. I have more time to focus on what I'm doing. I have more time to focus on how I'm being weird and outcasted in the world so that one day I can create the show that all the millions of people watch, that they talk to each other about and be like, ha, I made that show. And now that's kind of like where my brain goes. But the main point of point number 3 is you have to be alone. Alone. Anyone know that SpongeBob reference? You better know it because it's in like a lot of my YouTube videos. Anyways, you have to be in solitude. You have to be alone to focus. And I mean, I can be in the same room as my boyfriend working and be focused. It doesn't mean that you have to be, again, like I'm not saying that like you should always be alone. You should never have friends. You should never get married. You should never ever make a family or anything. You should be alone for your whole life. Not saying that at all. I am saying in the beginning, the lonely chapters, you're probably going to be alone because you haven't found that group of people that is like-minded yet. But as you get more successful and older and wiser and all the things and years have passed, you will find people that are like-minded. You will have to hire people, possibly for your company or whatever, that are good to work with, that are better than you at something. You will have to partner with a good mate and marry and have children if that is what you want to do, which is what I want to do. And like that's like that's literally life. Okay, man is not good to be alone. Man is not good to be alone. And man there is saying mankind, women and men. We're not good to be alone. It's like literally in our nature to be with people, to work with people, to connect with people, to bounce ideas off of each other. That's literally how we survived. And not saying that. I'm not saying you should never be with people. But I am saying, for me, my best focus time is when I'm alone at 4 a.m. in the morning, reading my Bible and working in the morning. When no one's texting me, nothing like that. And I don't have endless distractions throughout the day. I am focused. My days are usually filled with nothing on the schedule, which means, oh yay, Madeline gets to work for 5 hours uninterrupted. Like that's my favorite flipping time. And you have to have that. And it's hard to do that when you're constantly worried about appeasing all of your peers and going to their parties and stuff. But if that makes you happy, again, this is just what I do. If that makes you happy, if living that way makes you incredibly happy and you find joy from that and that is your life, 1,000,000,000% do that. Okay? I'm just saying what I do. Perhaps, perchance, there's someone out there that agrees, that can relate to this and that doesn't feel as bad for whatever, because I used to feel terrible that I had no friends and no one invited me anywhere, which probably was my fault, because if someone did invite me, I probably wouldn't want to go because I was like, I got to make a YouTube video this weekend. I'm sorry, I can't go. You know, and then they just eventually stop inviting you because they're like, she's going to say she needs to wake up at 4 a.m. and work out. We don't want to invite her anyway. So that's just what happened to me. Yeah. Food for thought. What is it? For him that hath ears, let him hear. I think that's what it is. Oh, who hath ears to hear, let him hear. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear. That is what I'm saying. So, solitude is good. You want to be the outcast if you want to be productive and focused. All right. Numero quattro. Is it quattro numero or is it numero quattro? Number 4. Being an outcast is a lazy person's superpower. Now, if you consider yourself a lazy person, I challenge you to this thought. Okay? Socializing, going to parties, doing all the things, that takes an immense amount of energy. An immense amount. Even if you're just like sitting around the couch talking, that's mental energy, focus, all the things. That's tiring. And if you instead took, and I'm not saying delete this outright. I'm just saying what works for me. I don't really tend to go places with friends and stuff. Very, very rarely do I do with like family and things. And the time that I do go out with family and friends, it's like I'm very focused. We're very in it. Like we are in the moment, present moment. And something I've been working on. But after that, I'm very tired. So if you took away some of that unproductive friend time, that's like you were done with it and you're like, what did we even do? Like, I don't even know why I did that. And focused the time that you would focus on friends, on working, on focusing on your future, on becoming better, you're using the same amount of energy, but just in a different spot. So if you're lazy and you're using all of your time on going out with friends and doing all the things, I challenge you to be lazy in the other direction and just use the energy that you do have on working and on focusing on yourself and on becoming better, because you're still being a lazy person. You're just putting your energy somewhere else. You know what I mean? So that one's a little bit goofy, but I thought it was kind of funny to think about because you're using the same amount of energy, just putting it somewhere else, you know? So anyways, I'm going to read this from my little paper here. Again, balance it. Build your circle of supporters, mentors, and collaborators later, but in the lonely chapter, that aversion to the crowd is what keeps you productive and ahead. And finally, what time am I at? 28 minutes, I think. Finally, number 5. To be the best, you must separate yourself. The winner walks alone. And at the end of the day, there's only one top spot, and the path to it is narrow. Matthew 7:13-14 tells us, enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate and narrow the way that leads to life, and few find it. Winners choose the straight and narrow path that most avoid. It's lonely, tough, and unpopular, but that's what sets them apart. It's lonely, tough, and unpopular, but that is what sets them apart. The crowd takes the easy, broad road to mediocrity. Do you want to be mediocre? I don't. If you want to, and that makes you happy, totally fine. I don't want to, personally. Anyways, outcasts take the narrow one that leads to excellence. So embrace being the successful outcast. The isolation today is the price of victory tomorrow. So stay on that path, and you'll come out on the other side as the one who made it. Now, I basically just read that word for word from my little outline right there. Yeah. The winner, there is only one winner. There can be a competition of 100,000 people. There's one winner out of 99,999 other people. There's one. That is definition of outcast. The one person that is different from the rest, who is set apart from the rest, who is casted apart from the rest. Like, that is You have to be an outcast. Like, do not think it's negative, and do not worry if you're different and weird from other people. And another example I love to give that's a biblical example is Joseph. And he told his brothers of his dream of becoming Pharaoh. And his brothers were like, no, what do you think? Who do you think you are? They threw him into a pit. Literally casted him into a pit. They casted him into a pit because they didn't like his dreams. They outcasted him. Like, I think that's hilarious. And then he was sold into slavery, and then he had to go to jail, and then he, like, falsely accused, went to jail, did all these things, all these terrible things that happened to him. And then all those things had taught him how to become Pharaoh and how to become the best Pharaoh that there had ever flipping been. And yeah, that's the life of an outcast. Like, you have to be an outcast. You have to be different. You have to be weird and not popular. And like, that's how you do anything. Okay. People have to look at you and be like, what are they doing to be successful at anything? And yeah, it's the work that you do that sets you apart. And I think a lot of people are tricked into the thinking that, okay, I have to do what everyone else is doing to be successful. Well, if you look at every single person, the average person, do you want to be like them? Or do you want to be like that version that you see in your head? It's in the very, very back of your head, and you're like, I could be that person, but I ought to take the safe path. No. Do the crazy thing. Alex Hormozi always says, like, you aren't going to want to have less crazy stories when you're 80 years old. Take the flippin' jump. Do the most insane thing that everyone's looking at you like, you're crazy. I'm not hanging out with you anymore. You're weird. Why are you trying to do that? Do it. Become the outcast. Do the weird thing. Be weird. Be different. And you will eventually become successful if you do all the things that you're supposed to do on your to-do list, if you keep with it, if you never give up. So yeah, I'm just going to read through the points again, just a little recap. So number 1, rejection starts close to home. Okay, don't be afraid when people close to you start making fun of you and you're like, what the heck's going on? Number 2, every single person you admire was an outcast and is an outcast. Number 3, you must be in solitude to focus. Focus requires solitude, and a part of that is outcasting yourself to work and to work on yourself. You must become selfish to be selfless. You must be selfish to become selfless. In order to take care of others, like in the airplane, they say, put your mask on first and then help other people around you. Like, okay. Number 4, being an outcast is a lazy person's superpower. Use your energy wisely. Put it in places that make sense and that move you forward, not hold you back. And lastly, to be the best, you must separate yourself. The winner walks alone. Take the narrow, straight path. Don't take the broad, easy path. Don't take the broad, easy way, okay? Because that leads to destruction. The narrow, straight road leads to life. In Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. So, that is today's podcast. How long was that? 33 minutes, I think. I hope you guys enjoyed. And Happy New Year. I hope the first, how many days has it been? 1, 2, 3, 4. Today's the 5th, January 5th. I hope your first 5 days of 2026 have been wonderful. And yeah, let's go flip and kill it. I'm so excited for this year. I'm literally so excited. I'm so excited for every single day, for every single year, for every single hour, because we are alive and we're here. And that means we still have something to do because God has not killed us yet. You know what I'm saying? So like, we're still here. We still got work to do. Let's flip and bring glory to the Lord and realize that we need to be an outcast to further ourselves on our mission. So I hope this helped. Everyone have a wonderful, great, and lovely week. Thank you so much for listening or watching on YouTube. And yeah, peace out. Bye.